The video you're about to see on the Mel Kiper mock draft actually first aired on our NFL Draft YouTube channel. If you want more draft coverage, go subscribe over there, youtube.com/chatNFL, and we'll put that link for you in the comments section of today's show. We are breaking down Mel Kiper's latest 2025 NFL mock draft. All the first-round picks, no trades, by the way, based on the current NFL draft order. At number 1, the Tennessee Titans take Cam Ward, the Miami Hurricanes quarterback. I am curious what the plan is going to be with Mike Borgonzi now mostly, seems like, in charge of the Tennessee Titans. And he made the comment he wouldn't pass on a generational player. I don't know if that actually exists in this class, but it at least opens the door to not take a quarterback since no one really thinks Ward or Shedeur are generational players. Maybe you can make an argument Travis Hunter is that guy. He is the wide receiver / cornerback out of Colorado. Quarterback is a real possibility for the Browns, but Hunter is Mel's number 1 player. Can't say I'm surprised to see him go at number 2. That leaves Shedeur Sanders to the New York Giants. Now, Mel is a bigger fan of Shedeur than he is Cam Ward, which makes me think he thinks the NFL's higher on Ward, obviously. I think a Shedeur-Neighbors combination could actually be pretty decent, but I would be worried about a on-the-hot-seat GM head coach taking a quarterback at number 3 overall. Number 4 is Abdul Carter, the Penn State linebacker. I think, Mike Vrabel's a defensive guy. Patriots did not have a lot of sacks this year. Carter coming in there. Receiver stands out as a pretty big need, but you could always try to get one in round 2 or in free agency, and Carter was awesome in the CFP. And now the stretch 2, by the way. Number 5 is Mason Graham, the Jags defensive tackle. I think adding another interior pass rusher makes sense for them, and outside of Carter and Hunter, if you were to get a quote-unquote consensus on who the next best defensive player is, I think Mason Graham would lead the way there. Number 6, McMillan, the Arizona wide receiver. You have Brock Bowers. Now you're adding McMillan to fully replace Davante Adams. I'm really intrigued by that. I don't know who the heck the Raiders quarterback is in this scenario, but if Shedeur and Cam Ward are gone, I mean, you're kind of stuck with what you're stuck with at that point, because it's not like you're going to take Jalon or Jackson Dart at 6. At least you shouldn't. Who do you think is the best player in the 2025 NFL draft? No wrong answers. It's your opinion, after all. Go vote at the pinned comments of today's show. Number 7 is Mykel Williams, the Georgia edge rusher. Mel comps it to Trayvon Walker, and I do think that makes sense. The production was low. The traits are really intriguing. Hassan Reddick may or may not be back, and whoever ends up hiring, get a top-end defensive player. Jalen Walker, the linebacker from Georgia. Still don't know why PFF has at 41 on their big board, and Mel's got him top 10 here. I think Mel's probably a bit more on point there. There are tweener traits like, is he a full-time edge? Is he a full-time linebacker? Is he a little bit of neither? Which has led to some misses on recent draft history with tweeners early. But I think he's got really good play, really good film. Maybe don't overthink it in a not great class. Will Johnson to the New Orleans Saints. I know they moved on from Marshawn Lattimore. I don't know if corner is actually that glaring of a need, but it is a good value for a guy that's been pretty consistently mocked inside that top 10. Number 10 is Will Campbell, the offensive lineman out of LSU. Adding talent to protect Caleb Williams certainly doesn't surprise anybody. He's big at 6'2", 323. I do think he might kick inside to guard, which probably isn't that big of a deal for the Bears. It's not the same caliber of prospect as Peter Skoronski, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went in the same range. Niners take Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas. I don't know how much longer Trent Williams can play. Maybe Banks can start on the right side, move over to the left side once it's time for that. But O-line help is a huge need for the Niners, and I actually like Banks slightly more than Will Campbell. Mel not taking Ashley Genty. I think we have already, by the way, hit the point where people don't want to mock Genty to the Cowboys because they're going to mock Genty to the Cowboys a lot. I think that's kind of where we're at here. But I do like taking Luther Burden. This Cowboys team, as they run the worst coaching search of all time, outside of maybe the Jags this year is up there too, they need a second playmaker. Jalen Tolbert, the washed-up corpse of Brandon Cooks and Jonathan Mingo is not a real wide receiving core beyond Lamb. Burton would be a huge boost to that. Malachi Starks, we'll see what ends up happening with Javon Holland long-term. Both starters are free agents, along with Jordan Poyer. I like that fit. It's one I've mocked before. And Starks is a very, very good safety prospect. He'll be a pretty close to consensus round 1 guy. A very popular mock draft pick is Tyler Warren to Penn State. I think safety also in play there, by the way, for Indy. Kellen Granson and Molly Cox are both free agents, and they have been that great. Warren is a do-everything player at Penn State. They let him run and throw sometimes, and he'll be a tight end and a damn good one in the NFL. Just be patient. Tight ends require some time. Shamar Stewart is a really interesting prospect for me. Great size, 6'6", 290. Moves insanely well. He had 1.5 sacks this season. This is also the Trayvon Walker Odafe way of like, hey man, you're a freak. Why couldn't you get home and get sacks? The traits are awesome. The production's a massive red flag, and it's going to make him a controversial player in round 1. The Cardinals at number 16 take Tyler Booker for offensive line help, which the guard play has been okay. There's free agents there. I'm a little surprised edge wasn't the pick or linebacker here, but you're going to keep Kyler Murray. Having good interior pocket protectors and powerful run blockers do help. Number 17, Jihad Campbell. If they move on from Logan Wilson or Jermaine Pratt, which is possible, then this pick makes sense. Otherwise, go take a defensive tackle, go take a defensive end again, go add an offensive lineman. I just kind of linebacker's an interesting fit. Even though I do like Campbell and he can kind of blitz as well, he's got some edge linebacker tweener traits as well. But linebacker at 17 did surprise me there. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big event. If you haven't already, make sure you are using the Game Time Picks feature. It makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats, so you never have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It is curation to make it easier to find better value on sports, concerts, comedy, theater tickets, and all other tickets that fall somewhere in between. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Again, those terms do apply, but the link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Seahawks taking Armand Membu out of Missouri. I think he can play tackle, by the way. There will be plenty of guard comments, questions about him as well. Seattle doesn't like spending premium picks on a guard, but a guard that could also be a tackle for you maybe makes a bit more sense for them. Then Nick Amonwori, the safety out of South Carolina. This is going to be a big-time combine superstar. He's 6'3", 227, and plays incredibly fast. There are times, though, he doesn't play up to his size. I think could be room for some more physicality. But the testing and the traits, even the production of the film is in a not great class overall. We're like top 5 guys, like top 10 guys, top 10, top 15, top 15 for like back-end round 1 players. He'll probably sneak into round 1. At least there's a chance he sneaks into round 1. Denver takes Ashton Jeanty at number 20 here for the Denver Broncos. I don't know if he gets there. I'd be a little surprised if he got out of the top 15, but who knows? Crazy stuff happens on draft day. And this would, better than Javonte Williams. Estimate everyone else. Sean Payton likes committees, but maybe Jeanty could get him to change his mind. So predictions. Who do you think ends up drafting the talented Boise State running back? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. I do think the Robert Woods comp is perfect. Like, he's going to be a really good wide receiver, too. He'll do everything for you. He'll block. He'll catch. He can have 1,000-yard seasons, depending on what the roles look like there. And Pittsburgh, I think, needs, like, a normal receiver for once. And Egbuka is that. Everyone's going to mock Colston Loveland to the Chargers. Like, that's going to be one of the most popular ones. It's the right range for him. It fills a need. It's a Michigan man. Of course it is. Mike Green out of Marshall, the chance to be the first Marshall first-round pick since this guy named Byron Leftwich. Other guys are Chad Pennington and Randy Moss, by the way. Green was incredibly productive this year. 17 sacks, 22 TFLs, a ton of pressures as well. Green Bay had a lot of sacks, but they weren't consistent at getting pressures. They could use some more help there. Now, Benjamin Morrison is interesting to me. As of filming, he hasn't technically declared yet. The fact that he was out there for the national championship game coin toss makes me think he is going to go pro. The hip injury is a question mark as well. But if he's healthy, this is a good corner who had plenty of round one buzz going into the year at a position of need for Minnesota. Now, if you want more NFL draft videos, you've come to the right spot. Hit that sub button for free NFL draft, NFL offseason coverage right here. Number 25, Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. We didn't see him play the entire year against not the best competition. He was awesome. Basically wasn't getting beat there for Ohio State. Now, I wonder where the Texans would play Josh Simmons. He's played right tackle and left tackle. I feel like guard's the bigger concern for Houston. I don't know if he fits that great at guard. I do like Josh Connerly here, who's young, talented, has shown progress, taking steps forward here. But by the way, and protecting Matthew Stafford or developing your young QB and having good offensive line makes a lot of sense there for the Rams. Javon Ravel, great size, ball skills. He's like 6'3". He's that Ravens-style lanky corner. They invested a lot in recent years at corner. T.J. Tim wasn't that of a pick, but they took Nate Wiggins in round one last year. Be a little surprised they spent another first-round pick. But if healthy, the value is very good. I like the fit of James Pierce here out of Tennessee. I think he's a sub-package pass rusher early on in his career. I don't trust him against the run, but they need pass rush help with Aiden Hutchinson going to be coming back from his own injury. So I don't mind that for the Lions. These next four picks, ESPN did based on their FPI, their football power index, so don't be mad at me if the Chiefs don't end up winning, or they do end up winning, whatever. Nick Scorton, I think he needs to lose some weight, but I think a pass rush addition for the Commanders, a defense that still hasn't actually been that great this year. The offense has been electric, though, is one to monitor. Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky, who I think is going to be like a kind of an early round two, late round one guy. 5 picks last season, not the most recent one with one before it, and has plenty of fans around the NFL. Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss here to the Chiefs. This is a addition to Chris Jones, not moving on, is what Mel said there. He was better this year. I still think there's a lot of development needed out of the former top recruit. Then Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. I don't know if the Eagles would actually take another defensive lineman with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis still on rookie contracts, but the Eagles draft premium positions. So edge, corner, probably not corner when receiver because they've spent assets there. So edge, offensive line maybe, and defensive line certainly do make sense. I do think Grant goes round one, by the way. He's a freaky athlete. So grade the Mel Kiper NFL mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Some other NFL draft prospects I think to monitor. I'll make note, Derek Harmon was the only guy in Mel's top 25 big board, ahead of Kenneth Grant, probably number 19 overall, that did not find his way into round one. I do find that interesting. Tyke Williams, I think Cam Williams could go round one because that is a gifted offensive tackle, but he cannot start in year one. I want to put him in Tennessee with their second round pick. Let Bill Callahan coach him up for a season. I think Caleb Johnson or Marion Hampton could be RB2 off the board. I don't know where Jahdae Barron ends up going, the quarterback from Texas, but I like him a lot. I've seen round 2 mock drafts, the occasional round 1 mock draft. That's just one of my guys I wanted to make note of.